Hi everyone, Scott the Scottman. We're here to do a driving video today. We're heading north on I-196 and we're just getting off I-94 now. We're near the St. Joseph Benton Harbor area and we're going to be going from where I-196 begins. We're going to go all the way up to M-40 near Holland. I previously did a video on I-196 early last year where I did M-40 all the way to where it ends at I-96 east of Grand Rapids. So this is the continuation of it, although we're starting at the western or southern end this time. Yep, normally this is not my way home. I typically would go home I-94. But because I was just out in this area today, this would be a good time to do this video. Because I should have enough daylight to be able to film this video. So it's like, why not? So I-196 is the connector route between I-94 and I-96. So basically if you're going to Grand Rapids and you're coming from the Chicago area, this is the freeway you would be taking. Or if you want to go to the different Lake Michigan communities such as Holland, Saugatuck, Douglas, South Haven, this would be the freeway you'd be taking as well. Yeah, a little fun fact, I have not been on the stretch of 196 between 94 and South Haven, so this is one part I've not come on yet. Yeah, it is a beautiful evening. No clouds in the sky, although there's some high clouds to the south going down toward Indiana, but here in Michigan it's absolutely beautiful. The car thermometer is reading, or back to that in a second, 18 miles to South Haven, 47 miles to South Haven, or to Holland, excuse me, although the freeway doesn't go all the way into Holland. It goes around it to the south and the east. Over the Pawpaw River. Yeah, I figure this would be pretty scenic too, especially with how close we are to Lake Michigan. So this would be really nice right around sunset. But anyway, my car thermometer is reading 59 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Celsius, so it's nice and cool out. Yeah, I'm filming this at the very last weekend of October. And as I was saying in my previous driving video, which I would have most likely posted a week ago, I already forgot what I was about to say. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've been seeing a very pleasant fall. Like, other than for a few days right after I got back from Europe, where we had a big cold spell with a lot of rain, even some snow showers mixing in. It's been very, very nice. Like warm days, or just say like mild days and some cool nights. And yeah, it's like, yeah, all the leaves have definitely turned a little, although it looks like it's past peak now because, yeah, I'm not seeing as many pretty colors as I was last weekend. Yeah, one thing I forgot to point out, yeah, this portion of 196 that we're filming, I think just about the whole stretch we're filming in this video, we're running concurrent with Highway 31. Which through most of the state of Michigan, Highway 31 runs parallel with Lake Michigan. Pretty much between the St. Joseph Benton Harbor area all the way up to where it ends at I-75 just south of Mackinac City. And then when it goes away from the lake a little bit is when you get over to the freeway portion going south from the Benton Harbor area. I think it's the St. Joseph Parkway, if I'm not mistaken. which Highway 31 then continues south, going toward South Bend. And then continues its way south toward Indianapolis. As I was saying earlier in the video, so yeah, I filmed a couple of videos in the southwestern part of the state today. I started out my day down in Dowagiac, which is a pretty nice small city, which I talked more about that in my previous video, so I'm not going to repeat everything I was saying in that video. But then after that, I went all the way over to the Lake Michigan coast, and I got to go to New Buffalo. It's my second time in New Buffalo, but I wanted to film a new video because the one I did there previously was very short. So I wanted to do something a little bit lengthier. And I'm glad I did because yeah, it's a nice little small downtown area. New Buffalo is, compared to Saugatuck, St. Joseph, Holland, South Bend, it is a lot smaller. Smaller downtown area, but has quite a few stores, has some restaurants. There's also a railroad museum that's really cool too, that's absolutely free to visit. And of course you got the beach on Lake Michigan. Although of course the crazy thing is that during the warmer months, just to park for like 3 hours or less, it's $7.50. Yet if you're parking for up to 3 hours in downtown New Buffalo, you can walk half a mile from downtown and go to the beach, and you can park for free. So it's like, yeah, it's like just do the walk. It's not all that bad. Oh, entering Van Buren County. Because I would say the walk from downtown New Buffalo all the way to the lake is much shorter than the walk from St. Joseph, downtown St. Joseph, or downtown South Haven to the lake. They're perfectly manageable walks too, but they're a little bit longer. And of course, Holland is much more inland, so it's like you'd be taking well over an hour, if not 2 hours, to walk to Lake Michigan from downtown Holland. Like you'd be better off getting back in your car and driving to Holland State Park. Be another reason why I was wanting to go this way. It's technically, again, as I was saying, it's a longer route, but it's more, 196 is more scenic, and one thing I will say is I-94 between 196 going all the way to Ann Arbor or even going into Detroit, it's very heavy truck traffic, and it is a pain in the rear. Because there are a lot of slow-moving trucks, and it can be a little bit troublesome going down that way. And not only that too, but today is the annual Michigan State football game, and it's being played in Ann Arbor this evening, and I could run into a lot of heavy traffic, potentially, once I get toward Ann Arbor. So it's like, yeah, I don't want to take the risk or anything, so I'll go the long way. Plus, driving on I-96, there tends to be a lot less truck traffic on that freeway compared to I-94. So yes, this way is longer, but more peaceful. Oh, got a lot of trees over here. It's like making things a little dark. That's okay though. But yeah, it's like you can imagine what the leaves were looking like a week ago on this day. Yeah, it's not too often that I get over to the west side of the state. It's like I keep telling myself I need to come out to this side of the state more. I need to come out to this side of the state more. Well, I'm doing that today, so it's like I'm back on the west side once again. So I've been over to the west side of the state a few times this year because I've been to Grand Rapids. I did like a long weekend trip back on Labor Day weekend. And I went to St. Joseph back in May. Got to meet up with my good friend Dima as well when I went there. And in June I went to Ludington. And then, even though it's more northern Michigan, I even went to Petoskey just before I went to Europe. And this exit here for 32nd Avenue, you can go to Van Buren State Park. Although we're technically to the south of Van Buren State Park. But there is another exit if you do miss this exit here. It's like, if you look at the map, we're only about a mile or mile and a quarter away from Lake Michigan. Like, I can only imagine what this is like during lake effect snow season. And yeah, a little ways off to the left, there is a power plant that's right on Lake Michigan. It's called Palisades Power Plant. It's a nuclear power plant, and I think it's planned to be decommissioned, if I'm not mistaken. Although I think I've been hearing talks about a possibility that they might keep it going. Or at least that's what the governor was saying or something, for what I've heard. But if they don't keep it going, they think they're going to be decommissioning it. I think in a year or two. But we'll wait and see. They could decide to keep it going. Because what's really cool about the power plant is that if you go to Van Buren State Park, which technically where we are now, we are just to the east of the state park. Because yeah, the trees over to the left, that's Van Buren State Park. But anyway, so what's really cool about the park is that when you get over to Lake Michigan in the park, you can look south toward the cooling towers of the nuclear plant. Which I thought that was pretty cool when I went to that park, to that state park. I think it was several years ago. But for what I was reading online, it's like you can go pretty far down the beach close to the plant, but once you get to a certain point, of course, they got fences up to where you can't proceed any further for obvious reasons. So the exit coming up at about another mile and a half. That is going to be, that's also another exit you can take to go to Van Buren State Park, but it's a lot easier if you're coming from Grand Rapids. I'm seeing some haze up ahead. Must be like smoke or something. Somebody must be burning leaves or something. That's what I can think of. So we're starting to get into the South Haven area now. Like, this is the first exit for it. This is the exit for M-40. And it also says the exit for M-43, although M-43 itself is a little bit to the north of here. All I can think of is it comes back down to this interchange. I'm not entirely sure though, but so we're kind of to South Haven now. It's like, yeah, I even filmed a video in South Haven last year. And what's pretty funny is that, this is my second video I filmed in South Haven. I filmed an original one several years ago that wasn't as good. And in that video, I had so many comments about people complaining about the tourists who go to South Haven. So what I ended up doing in my new video for South Haven, the one I filmed last year, I gave almost like a little public service announcement in the video talking about respecting the locals and treating the area with respect anytime you're visiting South Haven, to make sure you're not too loud and that you're not being a bother, and make sure you respect the locals. Yeah, and of course I get a comment saying "Go home, tourist." So I almost wanted to reply back saying, "Did you not watch my disclaimer?" Although he or she probably would have been like, "It's like, who cares? Go home." So anyway, this is the main exit for South Haven. Oh, I think we passed M-43 already. Because before that interchange, we went over I-43, or I'm sorry, M-43. Oh, I forgot they had a Menards over here. What's cool about M-43 is that it starts out over here in South Haven and goes to the east. It goes all the way over to like Weberville, Michigan, which is to the east of Lansing and East Lansing. And M-43 goes through downtown Lansing and East Lansing. It goes right by Michigan State University. And we're now entering Allegan County. So anyway, South Haven's a really nice city. Although it can get crowded there in the summertime because everybody from Grand Rapids, from Detroit, and Chicago are all going to South Haven. That's kind of why when I did my updated video on South Haven, I went in September, where it was a lot calmer. But there were still a lot of people there. Plus, there was a farmer's market going on too when I went there. So, farmers markets do bring in a crowd because it's always good to get fresh local produce and other goods from your local farmers and local merchants. So we got 26 miles until we get to Holland, and then 54 miles to Grand Rapids. Again, as I was saying earlier, we're not going all the way to Holland because this goes around it. But yeah, one of these days too, one of my good followers lives out somewhere in this general area, so it would be cool to do like a meetup at some point. I'm not sure if he wants me to mention exactly the town he lives in or anything, so I won't, just to be safe. But it would be cool, like you do like a meetup either in South Haven, Holland, or Saugatuck or something. Unfortunately, not today though, just because it's like I do need to get back to the east side of the state after I film this video. Even 196, the traffic load is not that significant, although of course it could probably be a different story on the weekends when people are coming, either going to and from Chicago. Because again, for people coming from Chicago, if they're going to like anywhere along Lake Michigan, this is the freeway to use or to take. People will continue their way north on either 31 or go up to Grand Rapids and go up 131. Oh yeah, it's like, well, what was pretty interesting is that when I was in New Buffalo, I'm not kidding you, I saw more Indiana and Illinois license plates than I did Michigan license plates, which is pretty interesting. And, oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention too is when I went to New Buffalo and I had dinner there, I was planning to go to one restaurant that was really popular, and they had like a 30 to 45 minute long wait for a table at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's like I ended up having to go elsewhere. But thankfully there was another really good restaurant called Brewster's Italian. Forgot the full name. It's like it's called Brewster's. They have some great Italian food, and it's another good restaurant there too. And I was able to get a seat right away, which was good. Anyway, getting back to my original topic. So yeah, so I've been up to the west side of the state a few times, although it's like I almost don't want to count Petoskey as the west side of the state. Yes, it is on the shorelines of Lake Michigan, or more specifically Little Traverse Bay, which goes out into Lake Michigan. And I consider it more like northern Michigan than anything else. So yeah, but I need to get out to the west side of the state more often. Because like when you look at it, Grand Rapids is only like about 2 hours or so from where I live. So yes, it's a little bit of a drive, but at the same time, it's not that bad. It's shorter than going to New Buffalo, where I was earlier today. Although I don't know if I'd be coming out to the west side of the state anymore the rest of the year, just because we're going to be entering lake effect snow season, and it can be a little unpredictable. But then again, I did come out here in early 2021. I went to Allegan and Plainville, Michigan. It was like early March, and when I went over to Lake Michigan, it was all frozen over, which is pretty cool. will say that's a very original name. But yeah, it's like, it's just a beautiful evening. Unfortunately for tomorrow, it's going to be clouding up, and we got rain showers coming like tomorrow evening. That's alright though. Today's my big adventure day. I might try to do like a drive video tomorrow back in the Metro Detroit area, but that's probably about it. Yeah, we've been going 30 miles already, so this is going to be a yeah, because I was talking about the Michigan State game earlier. I probably would not be doing this video right now if the game was in East Lansing, because then I'd be dealing with traffic on I-96 instead. Then I probably would just done this video another time and just gone home 94. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that game, because Michigan, as of right now, as I'm recording this video, is currently undefeated and ranked, I think, 4th in the country, where Michigan State has not been having the best of seasons, and they've lost a few games already, and they're heavily favored to lose this game. But it is a big rivalry game in the state of Michigan, so it's like anything can happen. Because Michigan State could play their best game of the year, and Michigan could play their worst game of the year, and Michigan State can somehow pull off the upset. So, although watch I say this, and by the time you watch this video, Michigan will have won by double margins. The exit for M-89, which goes over to Fennville, Michigan. And we go further to the east, eventually it hooks up with M-40, and that'll take it over into Allegan, Michigan. Especially with the sun getting lower. My car thermometer is reading 55 degrees Fahrenheit now, which is about close to a little under 13 degrees Celsius, so it's cooling down. As well, you look at it, it's nice and clear out, so it'll cool down fast. And yeah, it looks like we got some road work coming up ahead. So it's like, it's been so nice so far not having to deal with any road work, but oh well. Welcome to Michigan, where we have 2 seasons, winter and construction. And there's even a 3rd season, winter with construction. Let's not forget that. We're now starting to come into the Douglas and Saugatuck area, which both communities, they're kind of like twin cities a little bit. Because from the south, you first got Douglas, and then you got Saugatuck. Which, yeah, I need to get back up to I need to get back over to Saugatuck at some point as well, because I've only been there once, and I almost should do a new video there. Yeah, one thing about Saugatuck that was pretty cool is I remember there's this ferry that's where there's a guy who pulls a chain that takes you across the water there in the sea, which that's pretty cool. Which, yeah, it's for pedestrians only. Like, you can't put your car on it or anything, but. So if you're coming up from the south, this is the main exit you want to take to go into, like, Saugatuck. Huh, interesting. So it's like they're only doing road work on this side of the freeway. But then again, there could be some more stuff up ahead to where they could do stuff going the opposite direction. We'll find out in a little bit. into the north or the southbound lanes right now. So yeah, it's down the one lane going the other way too. Thankfully, with the light traffic, this should not be a problem. If this was I-94, this would be a different story. Okay, it looks like they're doing stuff over at the bridge. The bridge is going over the Kalamazoo River. Don't see anybody working, so they're probably done either for the day or for the weekend. So yep, this is the Kalamazoo River. Which the Kalamazoo River empties out into Lake Michigan over at Saugatuck. And of course the Kalamazoo River comes all the way from, well, Kalamazoo, obviously. Okay, so yeah, that's what the roadwork's all about, just for reconstructing bridges over the river. So not too bad. Alright, so we'll continue our way north up toward the Holland area. Which, yeah, we only have like another several minutes left in this video, so we're getting down on the wire with this video. Okay, so yeah, lane closure on 196 over at Buren Road, which is east of Holland and Zeeland. That's going to be off camera, because that'll be after I finish this video. That shouldn't be too much of a problem, though. Yeah, this is a very nice freeway. Oh, and that's another park I need to go to. Because, yeah, this exit coming up, we got the exit for the Blue Star Highway. You can go over to the Saugatuck Dune State Park. That's one state park I do need to check out sometime. That is the cool thing about Lake Michigan, is that because of like the hilly nature of the shoreline and of course all the sand dunes, you got all these different state parks. Just in southwest Michigan alone, because if you come up from Indiana, and of course down in Indiana, you got Indiana Dunes National Park and Indiana Dunes State Park. Come up into Michigan, you got Warren Dunes State Park, you got Grand Mirror State Park, you got Van Buren State Park, Saugatuck Dunes State Park, Holland State Park, Grand Haven State Park, Muskegon State Park. And that, again, that's just southwest Michigan. Of course, there's a lot more stuff as you go further north. And there's also the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore, too, going up toward the Traverse City area. Like going more toward like where Empire, Leland, Suns Bay, like that general area. Which I need to get back up there again soon. It's been a while since I've been over there. And I'm curious why they haven't made Sleeping Bear Dunes a national park yet, because it's just a national lakeshore right now. So I know just a few years ago, they made Indiana Dunes a national park, because it used to be a national lakeshore like Sleeping Bear Dunes is right now. But Sleeping Bear Dunes is still just a national lakeshore. So I'll be curious if they'll upgrade that to national park status at some point. Because right now in Michigan, the only national park Michigan has is Isle Royale National Park, which is an island that's in inferior. You have to take a ferry from Copper Harbor to get out there. That would be really cool to go out to Isle Royale. It's very rustic out there, because, or very primitive over there, because there's no civilization on Isle Royale. So coming up here in a mile, we got the exit for Highway 31. However, it's currently closed because of construction. But normally when there's no construction, this is where Highway 31 branches off of I-196, and 31 continues its way toward Holland. It still doesn't go into downtown Holland. It goes just around it, but it goes much closer to Holland. And if you're going up to Grand Haven and Ludington and Muskegon, you're going to want to, normally when it's open, get off at this exit. Where I-196 now starts to go away from Lake Michigan and work its way over toward Grand Rapids. And yeah, Holland's another city I need to get back to as well, because I haven't been there in like 3 years. So yeah, I don't think I have too much more left in this video to film, because I'm only going up to M-40, which is about another 2 to 3 miles from here. So now this is where I-196 begins to go more to the east instead of the north. Beautiful evening, I have to say, although I said that not too long ago, but oh well, it's just that nice. So right now we are just to the southwest of Holland, Michigan. Holland is a very beautiful city. And of course over there you got Holland State Park, which is a beautiful state park. Some great campgrounds over there, and you got a beautiful lighthouse and a nice beach too. Michigan is quite a fantastic state, I have to say, and I'm not saying that just because I live in Michigan. I'm from Michigan, but there's a lot of cool things here. It's like when I'm not traveling around the world, it's like I'm traveling around Michigan, and I absolutely love it. I don't like the Michigan winters because they're really cold and really snowy, but that's alright. And coming up in a mile, we got the exit for M-40 for Allegan. So now we have now officially filmed the entirety of I-196, at least going north and east. Alright, so here comes the exit for M-40, which take that northwest into Holland, or southeast toward Allegan. Alright, so thanks for watching this video here on I-196 going from I-94 near Benton Harbor all the way up to M-40 near Holland. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click that subscribe button to come along and join for the adventure, and don't forget to click that notification bell so that way you know when a new video goes live. Well, thank you for watching, and this is Scott, or the Scottman signing out here from I-196 near Holland, Michigan.